Today as we discuss catalog management. We're going to look at the catalog, different ways to access the catalog, different parts of the catalog, and how you can add and edit things that are inside the catalog. Following the presentation, I'm going to open up the chat panel where you can type in questions that you might have about catalog management. Following the entire presentation, I'll email you out a booklet where you can read about all the different information that we did cover in today's class as well. So let's get started about catalog management. On the right-hand side of your screen, you always have your catalog. So depending on the tool that you choose, you'll see the catalog elements listed there. To be able to edit those elements, you can simply right-click on them. And that will bring up a dialog box that allows you to add a new element, copy that existing element, edit an element, or even delete it out. If you want to be able to edit multiple elements at the same time, that's when you need to go into the Element Manager. The Element Manager is one portion of the catalog. There's two parts to our catalog. The Element Manager that manages all of the 3D components, the things that you would draw in a model. And then we also have the Library Manager. And in there, you're going to have all of the text, dimension settings, and different materials listed in there. So it separates the actual 3D components from all the settings behind them as well. You can access the catalog here through the Element Manager or the Library Manager, or by going to the File pull-down menu, you'll also see catalogs. And there as well, you'll see the Element Manager and the Library Manager as well. So first off, I'm going to open up the Element Manager. And again, this is the portion of the catalog where we're going to be looking at the elements. So listed in here, you'll be able to see all of the various elements that we have in our catalog. So you can see that right now I'm highlighted on a door. The power of coming into the Element Manager, instead of just being on the desktop and right-clicking to edit the elements, is in here I can multiple select elements. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to select the group of hinged doors. So you can see that they all highlight blue. So by holding down my Shift key, I can select as many as I'd like to. With all of those highlighted, their properties appear on the right. I want to draw your attention to the properties that you see in red. Those properties in red are properties that are not similar for all of these elements. So obviously the name is going to be different for all of them. The red color is a flag to you to say, before you edit this option, you must realize that all of these elements have a different name or a different width. Do you really want to edit them to all be the same? So it's giving you a little warning that you might not want to change these elements, these parameters that are different for all of these various elements. All of the fields can be changed though. So I'm going to come down here where it says 3D % open. So when the door is open in 3D, right now it's 0% open. So when I'm looking at a door in 3D, it's closed. Well, if I want that to be open just a little bit, I can put it 15% opening. Now look in the lower left. See the little preview? See how the door got opened? So as I keep changing that value, I can open the door more and more in 3D. So depending on how much you want the door to be open, you can change that option here. Because I have all of these elements highlighted at the same time, I'm changing all of their percents at the same time. So if there's a global change that you want to make to all of your doors or all of your windows or any other element in the catalog, hold down the Shift key, select them all at the same time, look over to the right, you'll see all their properties, and you can edit and change them. And again, the properties that are in red are flagging you and warning you that these are different for all the various elements. Do you really want to change them? Once you have the edits made in the catalog, you may want to do some adjustments as well. So you can see as we go down here, we've got hinged doors, and then we get into classic doors and louvered doors. Well, perhaps you wanted all of the catalog sorted by size and not particularly by style. Right now it's by style. It goes to hinged doors, then the classic, and then the louvers and the panel. So I can take this classic 30-inch door, and holding down my left mouse button, I'm going to drag it up to my 30-inch door. So now I've got 30 and 30. So I can keep doing that, and just holding down my left mouse button allows me to move it. That's really handy if you're finding that you're scrolling a lot for the element that you use the most. So if you find that you're using a particular door style the most and it's on the bottom of the list, grab it and drag it to the top. Then you don't have to scroll. That might sound very minuscule of a task, but all of those added up can take away time. And when you're trying to get a drawing out very quickly, you need all that extra time. So take the time in your catalog when you have a slow portion of your season and reorganize it so you can quickly select things. Or delete out the things that you know you would never want. So if I know I'd never use a 30-inch louvered door in my designs, I can right-click and choose Delete. It will warn me, do you really want to get rid of it? Because once it's gone, it's gone. I'm going to say yes, I'm going to permanently delete that door, and it will be deleted from my catalog. Also with reorganization of your catalog, not only can you move elements, but you can move entire folders as well. So over to the left-hand side, I find that I insert garage doors the most, perhaps. I'm going to left-click on the garage group, and I'm going to move it to the top. So just by holding down my left mouse button, I can then move the garage category to the very top of the doors list as well. So by organizing your catalog and managing it this way, you can work more efficiently by editing multiple elements at the same time, and also by moving things that you're going to use the most to the top of the list. I'm going to come up to the File pull-down menu now. Up at the File pull-down menu, you see a number of different options that I have. I can start up a brand new catalog or open another catalog. When would you ever want to open a new catalog? Well, here at CADSoft this week, we're very busy getting Envisioneer 10 ready to ship out the door. And if you've looked up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen, you can see that I am using Envisioneer 10 to just a beta test until it's ready for everyone to use. So we're trying to get that ready for everybody to use. You might have spent a lot of work on your existing catalog to get everything organized and used. You might want to open up our new Envisioneer 10 catalog because we are including a number of new blocks for you. You might want to open those up. Take a look at those blocks to see if you want to add it to the catalog that you've always been using, the one that you might have customized quite a bit. And then once you have it opened, you might want to send some of the files that we have in the catalog to your catalog. So in Envisioneer 10, we're going to have some new elements. And you might want to add those new elements to your existing catalog. So what I would do is I would BIM them out. I would export them out of this Envisioneer 10 catalog to add them to my existing catalog. So I'm going to choose the option to export. When I choose export, this dialog box pops up. What it wants to know is, what do I want to BIM out? So I can look at all of the various elements, and I'll scroll down and I will look at interior furniture and some living room furniture and some seating, perhaps some chairs, and I'll just select a chair. When I have that chair, if that's all I wanted to take out of this catalog and add it into the new one, I could hit transfer. Now in this BIM file you see here over to the right, if I look at the elements, you can see that it has my sling chair over there now. And it's going to keep that same directory for me. So when it adds it to my new catalog, it'll put it in that same organization for me. So that's how you add one element. But what if I wanted all of the sofas? Well, even highlighting on that one folder allows me to transfer over all of the sofas. When it says it's done here, down at the bottom, I can again look at my elements, and you can see that under seating I have all of the sofas and that one chair. So this allows you to take elements from a catalog and put them into another catalog. When I have all of the elements selected, I simply click OK. And then what it wants to know is, where do I want to save this BIM file? So you can see this Save As. So I'm going to say this is New BIM File, and I'm going to hit Save. And I'm putting it out on my desktop. So now that's out to my desktop, and I've saved the elements out of this catalog of version 10. Then you would come back up here and File and open up your existing catalog, the one you want to be using. And then you would come down to BIM file and say, I want to import. From there, it's going to look out to where you want to find it, and out on my desktop, that's where I save that new BIM file, and I'm going to click Open. The dialog box for import items from a BIM file appears. Has the exact same look and feel that our export did. So from here, I can tell it what I want to bring in. So on my BIM file here over to the right, I'm going to tell it that I want to bring in all of that living room furniture, which includes that one chair and all of the couches. So I select living room furniture as a group, and I say transfer it over. What it's doing down here at the bottom is it's scanning for duplicates. So it's saying, oh, do I have that already? Don't I? If I do, I'm going to bypass it and I'm not going to bring it over. So it's only going to bring over those things that it recognizes as being new. Then it's part of your catalog that you have. Click OK, and you'll see those elements in your existing catalog. So that's the power of being able to open up other catalogs. We always ship a brand new catalog every version, so you might want to take the elements out of that catalog so that you can import them into your own. Take a look when version 10 ships later on. It's coming very, very shortly. And open up the catalog that we ship with. Extract out those elements that you want if you've customized your own catalog and want to keep your own catalog. And then you can BIM those in. Another option here you'll see is catalog properties. Looking at the catalog properties, you can see the units that it's going to default to, the precision it's going to default to as well. If you customize it, you might want to put your name to it and your company name. Down at the very bottom of that dialog box, you have the opportunity to lock the catalog to editing. This is a handy feature if you have someone brand new in your office. So you've given that brand new person Envisioneer to start using. Well, Nelson Newboy gets a little excited and he starts to create all these elements and he starts editing the elements that you have in there and he messes everything up. To stop Nelson Newboy from doing that, you can lock the catalog to editing. That means he can insert things, but he can't edit your catalog, and he can't add new things to your catalog. So it stops him from making mistakes to your catalog. But buyer beware on that. If you do lock the catalog to editing, it needs a password. There is no way I can retrieve that password for you or anyone here at CADSoft. That's a security issue. So if you lock that catalog to editing, you have to remember that password. We can't retrieve it for you. We can't reopen that catalog so you can edit it in the future. So make sure you're very careful if you do put a password in there that you remember it. Okay? So you have that opportunity to lock the catalog and look to see which one you're using. So if you're confused, is this the Envisioneer Master Catalog or is this the one that I had been using, you can look at the catalog properties. So here in the catalog, this is what allows you to update multiple elements, and it also allows you to reorganize everything. I'm just going to cancel out of the catalog, and then I'm going to step you into the Library Manager, the other portion of our catalog. So again, the Element Manager takes care of all of the 3D elements, the geometry that you're going to insert into a model. The Library Manager, when I pick on it, it's going to bring up basically different settings that you have for all of the different kind of 2D line work elements in your Envisioneer projects, like line work and hatch patterns and different configurations that you can set up as well. So working over here on the internet, you can see that it's taking a little bit of time to pull up. There we go. So here's my Library Manager. By coming up here and picking on the Libraries button, it'll show me all the various elements that I can edit and change. So as an example, I'm going to come down here to line styles. This will show me all the various line styles that are in the model so far that I can have in my catalog. So if you want to rename them, add a new line style, edit that existing one, or delete it out, this is where you can do that 2D line editing. You'll also notice that we have in here as well different text styles. So if you're not happy with the look of the way the text is on your drawings, this is where you can edit the style. So if I double click on this leader style, it brings up its properties. The name is leader, and the font style that it is using, I will change that here. Maybe we'll set that to Arial. It's a regular font style, and the height is a 1/16 of an inch. And then when I click OK, it'll remember all of that for me. So you can go through and edit all of the various elements here on the text. Also found in here in the Library Manager are different configuration settings that you might have. So I'm going to go down to the very bottom here to Kitchen Configuration as an option. If you've ever used the Kitchen Builder wizard in our software, it automatically builds a kitchen for you. It has preset styles of cabinets in there and appliances and different styles. By clicking on Kitchen Configuration here, this is where you set those up. So you can pick on the configurations that are here and then select different elements for them. Those will appear in the Kitchen Builder wizard then when you go to use those different dialog boxes. These are the elements that are going to appear. So if you wanted to make new choices, different choices, then you can update and edit them here. You'll notice looking at the new version 10 catalog that we have made some adjustments and we've added some new styles in. So you can review the new choices and see if you want to add them into your custom catalog as well. Back under Libraries, I'm going to go to the very bottom, Framing Libraries. This is where we put our preset ways that it's going to frame your model. For head sill jamb configurations, how it's going to put in the header over an opening, the jacks and the kings on the sides of that opening. Intersections, how it's going to frame your corners. Those are the wall end conditions. Wall opening span table, so the different span sets and what they're pointing to, the different configurations. And I'll pick on this very last one, the wall framing infill. This tells it how to frame your wall. By double-clicking on any of the options in here, you can edit the infill properties, the bottom plate choices, the stud choices, top plate and very top plate. So these were all the settings behind those 3D elements. So when I insert a wall from my Element Manager, it wants to know how it frames it. So it looks here at the configurations I set in my Library Manager to frame them out. So again, the catalog is comprised of 2 parts, the Element Manager and the Library Manager. I'm going to click Cancel here to exit out of my catalog. The next thing I want to show you is with your catalog then, what if you want to add in new items that you find out on the Internet? You've done a browse out on the Internet and found a really neat block that you want to bring in. Well, I'm going to go out to the Internet right now and we'll do that for you. So right now I'm up at the Google 3D Warehouse. So you can just, over here on the right, I've just typed in Google 3D Warehouse, and that's a quick Google search that you can do that will bring up some SketchUp blocks. SketchUp blocks can be used in our software, so you can find them and import them. So I'm going to do a search here, and I'm going to look for the word chair. And I'm just type the word chair and hit enter, and I get all these different chairs. All of these chairs are in 3D SketchUp mode, and they can be imported into our software. All you have to do is tell it that you want to download a chair, and I'm saving the file, and I'm clicking OK. And it's called Untitled, so I'll have to remember that it's called Untitled, and it's showing me here that it has the progress there. It's been downloaded. So I'm going to go back to my Envisioneer and import that chair. To import that chair, I'm going to go to File, and then I'm going to go to Import, and I'm going to go to the Object Wizard. So File, Import, Object Wizard allows me to bring in 3 blocks that I find out on the Internet. The first screen is just a welcome screen like all of our wizards, and I click Next. This screen is the important screen. This is where it wants me to name the element, so I'm going to call it Chair, and I'm going to put Chair in the Interior Furniture group, and then I hit Select. And when I hit Select, it goes out to my computer to see what I have downloaded. So here I've got that I want to either bring in, looking down the lower right-hand corner, an AutoCAD DWG, DXF, 3D Studio, or a SketchUp file. There is my SketchUp file right there. It's untitled, like in the name, and I click Open. When I click Open, it brings it back into my Import Object Wizard, and we get the 3D view of it. Then I can click Next. Now, depending on how they created the block that you're going to import in either AutoCAD or in SketchUp, they've probably created it on different materials or on different layers. And you can see all of those. This gives you the opportunity to say, okay, I really don't want to see the edges or the default color in 3D, and I don't need to see black in 2D. So you can turn on and off the visibility of various elements as you bring them in. Then I simply click Next and Finish, and I'm bringing in that chair. If I quickly place a camera, we can see that chair in 3D. So I'm just going to look at that chair. There's the chair that was drawn in SketchUp originally, brought into Envisioneer, and you can see that it remembers all of the different materials when it brings it in. When I import it this way, I'm adding it to this drawing file only. It's not part of my catalog. I just insert it into my model. So what I want to do is I want to add that to my catalog so I can use it in the future in different design projects. To add it to my catalog, I go up to File, Catalogs, and you'll see Save Element to Catalog. So File, Catalogs, Save Element to Catalog. You can see the difference in my cursor. It's got a little arrow on it and a little plus sign. I left-click on my chair, and a dialog box pops up. Do you want to save chair to the catalog? Yes, I absolutely do. And then it's adding it into the catalog, and it's saving the catalog during that process so that it has that chair saved to the catalog. So if I go to my interior furniture group now, I will be able to find this new chair and use it for future groups as well and different drawings. Okay, so I'm going to go to Interiors, my interior furniture group here, and there we can see chair. See how it has a category there that's not named? I can go into the element manager there, and it always is going to bring it into a different folder. I can either give this folder a name, or I can move the chair into the chairs. So I'm going to take that chair and move it up into my chairs. So now I have the chair in there as my catalog as well. And clicking OK, it's now saved as part of my catalog too in that new folder. So I just want to recap the information that we've crossed so far. Again, the catalog itself is comprised of two parts. The element manager will take care of all of our 3D elements. The library manager will take care of all the settings behind them, the text styles, the line styles, the dimension styles, the framing modes that you can use. And then the two work together to create your model to get them organized correctly. When you are importing elements, we went to the import and brought them in as an object wizard. Once you bring them into a model, then you have the opportunity to save those elements to the catalog as well. You also can browse for more catalog content. We're always looking to add future manufacturers and more manufacturers, so you can have exact manufacturer content in the catalog. So you can use Alcoa siding and Armstrong's flooring as an example. By clicking on that button, it'll take you directly out to our website where you can download the content. We've just revamped this page, and we're bringing more and more in every day. So you would just download their content. When it downloads the content, it's downloading them, you can see, as a BIM file. And that BIM file is imported the exact same way that I would when I was going to the catalogs and importing the catalog BIM file for my version 10 or customized catalog. There's another way, so instead of going into the element manager and then hitting import the BIM file, I can go right here to import as well. And there you'll see BIM to catalog, BIM to project. So I can import something just to one project to use or to the entire catalog. So it's another great way of getting more content as well when you're in your catalog, importing elements that you find out on the internet in DWG or SketchUp file format, or just going up to the CADsoft website where we have different catalog content up there for you as well. What I'd like to do for you now is to answer any questions that you might have about catalog management, how you can save new elements, perhaps you want me to cover that again, how to move folders, how you're going to handle importing the catalog into version 10 that you might have already. When we ship version 10, coming up very shortly, you'll also see in that same email where you can download that there will be instructions there of how to save your catalog. So what we're telling you to do is make sure you save your catalog somewhere else so that when you go to install version 10, it doesn't overwrite it on you, and that you'll have your old catalog that you can import. There'll be instructions included with the download of version 10 so you can save your customized elements as well. I'm just going to look over at the chat panel now for questions. And if there aren't any questions, just click on those, then what we can do is end the webinar, and I can send you off the PDF copy of catalog management so you can read up on that. So I'll leave that chat panel open for 1 more minute so you can type in any questions that you might have about catalog management, and then we can end off the webinar and I can send you the written documentation. So again, 1 more minute for questions and answers that you might have on catalog customization before we end off the webinar. Okay, well, I want to thank everyone for joining me for today's webcast on catalog management. I hope you learned something today on how to manage your catalog, and I look forward to seeing you again next week in our next webinar. Every week at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is devoted to your learning, so make sure you tune in each week. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.